What is up, YouTube? McIntyre here, bringing you a new up-to-date tier list. As you guys can see already, we are on the Heroes Hearth webpage. If you guys haven't already checked out Heroes Hearth, you really should. This is my new sponsor for my HEC team, and also a website that I think is incredibly valuable to Heroes of the Storm players, especially when you're trying to improve and get better at the game. Tons of articles, as you can see at the top. Tons of content. All my builds and all that good stuff are on this website, so if you haven't already, please make sure to check it out. So we need to change up the tier list a little bit. Things have updated, things have changed. Certain heroes are good, certain heroes are bad. Most of it, I'll be honest, is still the same. I'll just come out and say it. I think most of the stuff on this list is still fairly similar. One thing that I know a lot of people always brought up to me, and I saw it right off the bat, was Zul'jin. Do I think Zul'jin is tier S? No. Do I think he's tier 1? Yeah. Obviously Zul'jin's strength this patch is that people in Hero League tend to just throw bananas at each other. And I say that in a sense of it's a monkey league, so Zul'jin loves throwing bananas because every time he throws bananas, he scales. And because of that, I think that he is a tier 1 hero. You can basically just scale to the late game immediately with him. So I do think that he is good, but he is not tier S. Because of his low mobility, I don't think that he's tier S. He's very close for me. Somewhat like a KTZ, right? KTZ I think is still tier 1. They do the same thing. They scale really well, and if you land certain abilities or skills on them, you can just one-shot somebody out of a fight. So, yeah, that's where I'm at on both of these guys. We'll start at tier S, though. I just wanted to make that move first because I knew people would, and people have been saying it. So, tier S, we still have Garrosh and ETC. I still think this is appropriate. You know, there was a time when Muradin was tier S, and honestly, I think he still is. The slow jump at level 7 and the scaling jump range plus CDR at 16 makes him really powerful in Hero League. Basically just sets up kills for your team, right? So all three of these heroes are setting up kills for your team, and it makes it very simple. The hardest part with Garrosh, and the reason that, you know, he may not be good, is sometimes with him you'll throw somebody and then your team will draft a bunch of no damage, no follow-up, nothing, and you can get punished. These two heroes, I think, are maybe just a little bit better, but, you know, in the lower ranks in Hero League, especially, I think Garrosh is a god. And even in, you know, scrims, it still feels like people forget how to play against this guy. It really just, you know, he needs to land 1Q, and he gets a kill a lot of times. Looking at the supports, I do believe that Rhaegar is still high. One change that I think a lot of people will be surprised by is I actually think Kharazim is also a very strong support. Both of these supports do the same thing. They provide damage, and they can also burst heal. When I say that, like, a lot of supports can't burst heal. Really, if you look at the support cast, none of them like have buttons that says, if I land this button, you're gonna get like a humongous heal, like a 2,000 plus heal, right? Literally, you know, Oriole maybe when she has a lot of hope, but outside of those two, there's not a lot of supports that do that, right? Uther, obviously, with his deep shield, he can protect and prevent a lot of damage, but he doesn't really just say, here's 2,000 health. And both of these guys do that. And they also provide somewhat some wave clear. They provide kill pressure. They have the big heals. They can sustain decently, and they can also jungle. So they have a lot of things going for them, and that's one that I think a lot of people will be surprised by, especially considering he just got nerfed. And I do go Iron Fist. I do not go Insight. Morales, I still think, is very strong in Hero League. It's just hard to punish her. Uncoordinated games lead to, you know, Morales just running around in circles. And Tassadar, in my opinion, is still incredibly high. Great wave clear, saves a lot of people. You can just go Archon and, yeah, provide vision. He's really good. If you get to level 20 with permanent Archon, you can win a team fight. The two range damage, Greymane and Vala, I think these two are probably the only tier S. You know, if you can play Genji well, I think Genji can be tier S. He I just kind of made the connection between Genji and Li Ming. Genji is kind of Li Ming, except that he has more utility and he can reset easier, right? So because of that, I think Genji, in my opinion, is tier S, and I've had a lot of success with him in Hero League. If you can play the character decently well, I think he is really strong. And he punishes a lot of this, like, Morales, Zul'jin, you know, these people that want to just, like, KTZ, you know, they want to posture, like, oh, eventually I'll land my combo, right? And Genji's like, okay, well, if you think you're eventually going to land the combo, I'm going to just Dragon Blade in. And you either land it, or I kill everybody. So I think that because of that, he is a tier S hero. Moving to tier 1s. These are the Trash Mans. And if you haven't read my Trash Man or watched my Trash Man video, you should definitely do that. We have Dahaka and Sonya. These are the basically offlane soakers. Their whole job is just to punish the offlane. A lot of the time in Hero League, people tend to clump and 5-man, and Dahaka and Sonya can punish that sort of 5-man from the other team, right? Because they push so well and push so quickly and safely, you can get XP leads just from sieging and splitting the enemy team's soak. So I think because of that, both of these two are really, really powerful in Hero League. And yeah, they do that job really well. Obviously with Dahaka having the global, and Sonya just pushes so well that if you're left alone as Sonya, sometimes you can just trade forts for maybe a kill, which is XP lead for your team. So remember that. Then we have our tier 1 tanks. Arthas, I'm gonna actually put Joanna instead of Arthas. I'm not really sure about Arthas, but I do like Joanna nowadays. She's a hero that I've been picking a lot, and it's another counter to this dumb Zul'jin flavor of the month that everybody loves. Zul'jin loves to auto attack, and Joanna blinds him and then pulls him in and then stuns him and then imposing wills him and does all sorts of things that says, Zul'jin, you're just not going to do anything. So I honestly think that, yeah, Joanna should come up. One thing that I think I just want to kind of come back on the Sonya Dahaka. A lot of people think Sonya Dahaka, these two can be tier S. I don't think that they are, because if you just rip Sonya or Dahaka at the beginning of the game and then your team feeds, you can't do anything. You lose control of the game. Okay. With these tier S heroes, at no point in time are you losing control of the game. You, on most of these roles, are controlling the game, right? These are all stun tanks that are leading stuns, right? These are all supports that can support and kill and jungle and keep people alive. And then we have, you know, our hypers. These are the people that can just solo kill a lot of the time, right? So I just want to make that distinction as to why I don't think that these are tier S heroes before I continue on. But yeah, so Joanna shuts down a lot of the Zul'jin. You don't see mages as much, right? So I think Jo is really strong in this meta. And she also provides Wave Clear, and Blessed Shield can just get you a kill pretty quickly. And Nubarak, same sort of deal. You know, Beetles can push. You can get easy siege with a Nubarak, which sometimes can be invaluable for a team, being able to siege when the other teams split or you get kills or something. A little mini Sylvanas, and he also can web the medics, the Zul'jins, the Genjis. Pretty good stuff. Li Ming, I'm actually gonna move Li Ming. I don't like Li Ming as much anymore. And the reason for that is the double support meta is kind of tough on her. You really need somebody dealing damage if you pick Li Ming, and a lot of the time you don't have that second damage that you need in games to get the reset. So while I think she's still strong, I do think she now falls to the tier 2 slot. So we look at our other carries. Gul'dan, I actually think Gul'dan is a tier 1. Much like Zul'jin, he wants to posture and just slowly just grind out the enemy, right? And he does pretty well against these two guys and even Genji. And one good fear obviously can win you a game, so that's really nice to have going for you. And then we have the KTZ, same deal. Just looking for the one shot on him. Matthew, not as good anymore. After the nerfs to his numbers, don't know if he's a tier 1. I'm trying really hard to decide. Mathiel is really powerful, but sometimes you just go in and then your team doesn't follow or there's no damage, right? So you just hit R and then you just like, oh, hey, enemy team, and then they all pile you. He still is somewhat of a lane bully, so he's got that going for him. I'd probably say, yeah, he's... Nah, he falls down too. I have not been picking him as much as I used to. He's just not as good in this current meta. Zul, I'm just going to keep Zul tier 1 forever. Being able to just point and click your E and then your team follow up is really powerful. I think when the tower changes come, he's going to be a dead hero. He'll go right to tier 4 to the garbage. I'll throw him away. I'll take him out back. I'll put him in a trash can, and I'll leave that trash can at the side of the road for the garbage man to take to the... I don't know. I can't even think of what it is. I was going to say garbage center. The dump, I think is the name of it. There's different names. But Zul is going all the way there. And then he's going to get into the compactor, and they're going to compact him with Zagara. But till then, he is tier 1. And now we look at our tier 1 supports. I still think Brightwing is tier 1. Great global. She's really good at protecting people to get caught. So that's awesome. And people get caught in Hero League all the time. Plus, you can, you can Socus her pretty well and effectively, and then Zian, so that's good too. Lucio, I think, is still really powerful in Hero League. Provides that movement speed. His sound barrier, a lot of times team fights are just like everyone hit each other and then we fight. Sound barrier can turn that. Stukov, I think he comes down. He's not as good in the double support slot. And then we have Junkrat. Yeah. Okay, that feels better. All right, so this tier for me right now is good. If I see any other heroes, I'll move him up. But I think so far this all looks good. These are, I'll just say it. We're gonna continue on past through this tier list, but these are the heroes you should be picking if you want to get MMR in Hero League right now. This is the hero you want to be selecting. All right, and now we're moving on. So we have our tier 2 tanks. These are like, these are your offlaners. These are the heroes that you can sometimes take because they look good. These are like your 4th, 5th picks, right? Especially in competitive, these are your 4th, 5th picks. But you don't really want to rip these guys off the get because you'll get countered, right? They all have weaknesses. Maybe not Tyrael. Tyrael's just a beast, but he's very hard to play, and a lot of the times he'll sink and your team doesn't follow up. But I think all of these characters are really powerful. We could say Diablo's tier 1, and he always floats around for me. He'll be at the highest of tier 2. Diablo is very good in Hero League because he's easy to play and people are bad, so he can punish bad play, and so for that reason he feels really good in Hero League. But sometimes it's not enough. I'll put him up here. I'll put him in the tier 1. He's at the very bottom. That's shout outs to Bam Bam for that. Yeah, okay. But all of these tanks, these are the tanks that are, good offlaners, and they're good in certain places, right? As you can see, they're just strong picks, but they're not usually what you want to start with. So now we go down to our range damage. Lunar, Li-Ming, Falstad, good poke. Yeah, poke doesn't matter anymore. Resets. Falstad has global. Nazeebo scales some maps. He can just scale to the late game and win. Cassia counters a lot of the meta ranged. Jaina, garbage. Alarak can just one-shot. We'll put him up here. We'll put the melees up here. Thrall is a really good lane bully. He's very hard to kill. He's actually, I think he's coming up for me. I've had a lot of success in Hero League with Thrall because of the Wolf and Sunder, and he's very hard to kill. So you can sustain yourself, and the healer doesn't have to heal you a lot of time, but you can also follow up your tank. CC is like hard to come by nowadays, and he's one of the heroes that actually has it. Illidan, no thanks. Sylvanas, you can still get carried with Sylvanas, so if you want to rank up, play her. It's very possible that your team just carries you. turning off buildings is pretty good. And then we have our tier 2 supports. These are the characters that keep people alive, but also provide a little bit in the team fight. I'd actually say Oriole comes up to this slot. I think Oriole's probably a tier 2 support. Because we're getting back to this point where we have these hypers that are generating lots of energy, right? Zul'jin, Gul'dan, Greme, Bala. These are all characters that are going to give Ariel constant hope. And I would say Stukov probably comes down. I actually really like Tracer as second support, so I have her at tier 2. And this is looking pretty good so far. Obviously, when we see these heroes, I already see one that I want to bring up. And that is Zeratul. I've had a lot of success with Zeratul. I've seen people have success. He's just good at punishing rotation. And he does really good against the double support, right? VP, you can set up wombos with him. But this is the tier 2. Yeah, these are all good picks. If you're playing them well, you can do well. I don't have an issue with any of these picks. I don't get frustrated when my team takes them, more or less. So these are tier 3 picks now. These are our one tricks. You know them, you love them. Shout outs to Nasmus, tier 4 diva. Plays her well. Yeah, so these are all characters that if you see the player that plays that character every single game on them, you feel okay, right? However, if you see somebody randomly take the hero, you're sad, basically. So you accept the players that play these characters all the time, but when you see them on another hero, you know you lost. So that's tier 3. So we got our Stitches, good Stitches hooks. Shout out to Leon Black. We got Varian, Tom Varian, pretty brain dead, pretty easy to play. You got the classic 2-hand Varian every once in a while. Chin, yeah, he's just bad. He's tier 4 now. Artanis is pretty good. In Hero League, you know, B-Kid, he's got like a 66% win rate on him, so not too bad. He kills people pretty quick. He kills frontline really easy, and he can swap and just kill somebody. Our mages, you know, if I was bronze, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. If I'm bronze first pick KT, if KT's not banned, we lost. But we're not to that level yet. So KT is going to be a tier 3. And I put that there just so that Reddit doesn't get too upset. Because I know a lot of people hate Kel'Thuzad, or Kel'Thas, I guess I should say. Jaina's still pretty decent wave clear. I'd say Chromie's probably the best out of all these range, and then Tychus. Lunar is probably worst. She just lacks damage nowadays. And then we got our Illidins, we got our Nespers, we got our Lightseas. You know, we got our, I can't think of a Rag 1 trick right now. Then we got our Blutseas. There's a Gar 1 tricks. We got Dansky on the Medivh 1 trick. Doma Varian. We got our Abel 1 tricks. I can't think of any Abel 1 tricks right now. Malfurian's actually a pretty decent support. I would move him up. I actually think Malf's pretty good. He's good in the double support. And as long as you have a burst healer, he'll be alright. Lily, she's a tier 3. She's a tier 3. Maybe next patch she'll be strong, but I think right now she is tier 3. Same with Tyrande. Junkrat, he's pretty good, you know. You got the Aim Sparrow, which I'm not a huge fan of the player, but he plays Tracer every game. Yeah, I'm not gonna say his name who plays Asmo every game, but he is a Grandmaster player. Junkrat, you know, Garrosh Mines. And then we Stukov. I think Stukov's decent in support. He's good at AoE, he's good at sustaining, but he sometimes hurts when the enemy kind of collapses, right? And if he ever gets caught out and just dies, yeah, it's pretty bad. So this is probably tier 3, I'll say. I can almost come up with a 1 trick for every one of these characters. Like, I see it in Hero League every single day. Somebody playing one of these characters every single game, and they're in my games. So they're strong if played right, but they're not always good, right? Okay, and we're moving to the tier 4. These are all the characters that Blizzard needs to under-tuned way harder to do well on. Glogan heroes. Yeah, I mean, these are just, I actually, you know, I think Cho'Gall, if like the two Cho and the Gall players know how to play Cho'Gall, it is very, very good and hard to punish, because then the other team doesn't draft to beat it, right? Cho'Gall's like one hero in the game that you actually have to draft to beat, and if you don't, then he'll just run all over you. But yeah, I'd say like these are all characters that if you're picking them, you've chosen your own fate, and you're basically putting the game on your team's hands, and you've accepted that you're going to, you know, offer to the team not as little as possible, but you know, you're basically the salt and pepper, right? Your team is the potatoes, the steak, the green beans, but you're the salt and pepper. So while you're necessary, maybe you got your own little spice, right? You're not even the salt and pepper. You're like the Cajun seasoning that everyone hits on their food every once in a while. Like, I think that that's basically the way to describe this tier 4 is every once in a while you hit your food with that seasoning and it tastes good, right? But like 95% of the time it's disgusting with the food. So yep, that is the tier 4, and that is my tier list. If you guys enjoyed, please make sure to throw a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can always check me out on Heroes Hearth. I'll link that profile as well. Find out builds, find my blogs, find my tier list, find my YouTube, find my Twitter, which is also on my Heroes Hearth profile. Check this website out. There's a ton of stuff here. Just for the lulz, I'm going to add Alexstrasza, and I'll just let you guys in on a little deets and tails. Alexstrasza is tier S. She's absolutely broken. I don't get why Blizzard would give a healer Sonya's Wrath that AoE heals and resets her cooldowns. And then you can then take that dragon form that's doing AoE cone healing, right? Cone healing your team, cone damaging the enemy, and then you can slap a Tassadar shield on it that then full heals that Alexstrasza to full health no matter what health she's at. Insane. But yep, that's gonna be it. So if you guys stayed around, you now know that Alex is OP, and get ready for the, I don't know, the next patch. It should be fun. But that's gonna be it, guys. Again, thank you all so much, and until the next time, I'll see you then. Cheers.